Welcome, ladies, to the Real Estate InvestHER Show, providing inspiration, strategies, and insight to empower women investors to live balanced and financially free lives. Now, here are your co-hosts, Liz and Andresa.
Welcome back, ladies. This is Liz.
And this is Andresa.
Welcome back to the Real Estate InvestHER Show, where our mission and passion is to empower women to live a financially free and balanced life.
Whatever balance means to them.
Absolutely. 100%. So what we're going to be talking about is why you should stop reading books. Just stop reading books.
Stop reading real estate books. That's the goal over here. And you might like, did they hit their head somewhere or she's under influence? But stick with me. Stick with me. Trust the process. Trust the process, people. I will explain in a second. All right. No, I did not hit my head on a rock and I'm not under the influence. I barely drink any alcohol. So I'm going to start with this disclaimer. I am not recommending you to invest in real estate without having the knowledge, the proper guidance to invest in real estate. So reading real estate books is a must, is a given. You go to the Bigger Pockets books list, buy all of them. You should be aware of all those strategies. So that's a given. That's not what we're going to talk about. What I'm talking more specifically is what is at stake when you only read real estate books. So at some point in your business, you should stop only reading real estate books and really expand your library, even if it is real books, hardcover, or you're listening to them online. So I'm going to share with you 3 of the books that I am listening.
Just 3? I'm sure you're reading more.
I am reading more, but I'm going to share only 3 that I am listening/reading now. And yeah, sometimes I buy them because I like to have them and I listen to them. Sometimes I need to take notes on them, right? So the number 1, it's called Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara. And that is about restaurants. And then you're like, why are you reading? Are you reading a restaurant book, right? So this is about running a restaurant business from a high level of hospitality. And I guarantee you those strategies can and will be applied in your real estate business as well. I love seeing the mentality behind it. I love seeing how they're challenging the ways the restaurants were the service industry has done. And if you are in short-term rental or midterm rental, this is a must. This is a must to listen because you are in a hospitality business, more specifically on those 2 real estate niches. And I really love how they got to be the number 1 restaurant in the world. So the mentality started like way back with high level of hospitality. Love this book. The second one is How to Talk So Kids Will Listen by Adele Faber. So when I got recommended this book, I was like, this is a parenting book. And I've read so many. Liz, imagine when I was pregnant, the amount of books about kids I read. Can you?
I could imagine, knowing you that you read or listen to like 19 books at a time. Jeez.
Well, let me just clarify something to everybody that is listening. I was not a good reader in my entire life. I hated books. Really struggled in high school and in college. I went for journalism. That's where it kind of like started peaking. But my desire to continue reading was more on my first and second master's degree because it wasn't related to business. That's when I really like found my thing. So why am I talking about this parenting book? Because if you are building a sustainable real estate business, you are dealing with people, right? You are building a team, even if it is one person. and you want to apply, I'm not saying that you should treat your teammates as kids. However, this is a more of a listening skill and communication skill that can apply to your kids, to your spouse, to whoever you talk to. And one thing that I wanted to share is that my son is 7 years old. And since he was born, day one that he was born, I talked to him as he was understanding me. You're like,
So
what
important.
the hell? What the hell? Right?
Did the same thing.
Right?
Mhm.
Because I don't know which book I read that said talk to your kid as if they are understanding. So when
Yep.
I brought him home, I introduced him to every single rule of the house, to our dog, to everything else. So don't underestimate the potential of the people that you're talking to. Talk to them as if they are indeed understanding what the concepts that you are, proposing. It talk less. Talk much, much, much less. I think that this is one of the hardest things for me is like talk less and let them talk more and let them think, let them express, let them process instead of me processing on their behalf and giving it in a silver plate. It's time for me to do the opposite. As I grow as a leader, it's not my job to think for, you know, tons of people. And it's not healthy. It's not healthy for me. It's not healthy for them. It's not empowering to them. So highly recommend this book. The third one, though, is very, very personal. And I recommend everybody that are listening here, if you have 2 years, this is for you. If you have 1 year, this is for you. If you're breathing, that's for you. Radical Compassion by Tara Brach. And this specific, you can buy it, but I highly recommend you listen to this because there's a lot of meditation. And no, wait a minute. If you're got lost just because I said the word meditation, you're like, no, I can't do that. This is going to be different. This is going to be a very different book. You're not going to stay there like, what time is this here? It's a very interactive meditation, which it works well for me. But what I really like about this book is that sometimes we feel, even though we have mentors, sometimes we feel alone, that we need some sort of guidance and reassurance to our path. And she teaches a step-by-step here on how can you touch or have an interaction with your future self. And I cannot tell you, I already duplicate this so many times. And it's very clear in my head, it's crystal clear. How can my future self guide me now? How can I rely on my future self as well as my mentors and my friends and family? But my future self has a very intimate relationship with my now individual. And what she's really on point, Liz. I don't know your
I
experience.
started reading it. Yeah, I've listened. I haven't listened. I'm about third way through the book, and it's phenomenal because she does give you this wonderful 4-step process. Rain. That's
Yeah.
really, really powerful and so powerful to move the needle to get awareness. Right.
Exactly. So those 3 books, one is about hospitality. The other one is a parenting book that you can read and apply to your kids if you have them or to any team member. And the other one is more personal. How can you touch and be in touch with your future selves? All of those 3, I guarantee you, that's going to give you an edge when you compare your journey with other real estate investors. Then you're going to really expand your mindset, your awareness, and be ahead of the game. Thanks so much for listening. If you have any questions or if you want to hear more about our reading habits, let us know. Go to our Facebook community group. Put your question there and we'll sure get back to you soon. Thanks so much.
If you enjoyed this podcast and want to receive updates on our next interviews, go to our website, therealestateinvestor.com. There, you can subscribe to our show, become part of our investor community, and get updates on upcoming episodes.
If you like our show, please share it with other women who would benefit. And don't forget to leave us a rating on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it. And as always, we encourage you to take one action as a result of today's show and put it into motion so you can live both a financially free and balanced life. Thanks for spending time with us.
Ciao.